Welcome to Economics 3.4 lesson. We are going to be switching gears from demand and starting to talk about supply. When we were in the demand section, I told you to be in the mind frame that you are the consumer and you're looking everything from the point of view that you're purchasing it. Now, when we're talking about supply, I want you to be in the mind frame that you are the business. You are the person selling the product. And if you think in that mind frame when you see supply, a lot of the answers are common sense. So supply is the amount of a good or service that is available. And there's the law of supply, just like we had the law of demand, but this is a direct relationship. Again, think you're the business, you're the seller. If people are willing to pay higher prices, am I willing to produce more and sell more? Yes. So as prices goes up, I'm willing to supply more. However, if I've got to lower the sale price to get people to buy it, I'm probably not going to be as willing to manufacture or sell it because it's eating into my profit. So the law of supply is a direct relationship. Now, quantity supply. This is the amount of a good or service that the producer is willing and able to supply at specified prices. We're going to have those schedules that tell us at this price they'll produce this much. And that goes to our next one, the supply schedule. It's a chart. Much like the demand schedule, it will have, we're using the same example with pizza. At $1, we're willing to supply 500 slices. At $2, maybe 600. We'll have variables because those are factors that can change. Just like in math, you have X and Y. They can be different values. Our market supply schedule, going with the supply schedule, this will be where it's the entire market. And again, we're going to be talking about pizza again. So if we were talking about just a supply schedule, maybe it's for Papa John's, but the market supply schedule will be for all the pizza suppliers in Hendersonville. Our supply curve, this is going to be a graph of the quantity supplied of a good or service at various prices. And as soon as we're done with this, I'll show you how to draw one. The market supply curve, again, supply curve might be supply for Papa John's. Market supply curve, it is the graph for everybody in Hendersonville. And then you'll have elasticity of supply as well. Just like elasticity of demand, there's elasticity as far as how quantity supplied reacts to a change in price. And this can be a little different just because it's not as easy. Like demand, it's easy for people to go, ooh, now I want to buy it. But elasticity of supply is a little bit more difficult because there's some things you can't just produce in an hour, in a day, in a week. Some things take years. So let's talk about that market, the supply curve. And I'm going to ignore this top really quick. Let's graph it. And so the supply curve, you've got an X and a Y, just like your demand curve. Just like your demand curve, price is your Y-axis. But X is now, instead of quantity demanded, it's quantity supplied. So it's really changed from quantity demanded to quantity supplied. And since this is a direct relationship, it goes up, supply goes up, price goes down, supply goes down. That's a positive slope because if you have a positive over a positive or a negative over negative, it's positive. So our graph is going to look like this. It's going to slope upward. So that's the big change. Price stays the same, quantity supplied, and it's now going upwards instead of downwards. Okay. So now let's look up here at the top. If you were running a business, and this has literally happened to me before, where somebody has walked up and said, oh my gosh, you're selling it for that price? This is cheap. And immediately in my mind, I'm going, oh gosh, I could have priced it higher. I could have gotten more money. And I used the example of, I have a Rubik's Cube in my classroom. And I said, if I was selling these for $5, what if someone walked up and went, oh my gosh, it's $5. They're selling them all day long at Walmart for $10. Well, we know Walmart has low prices. So if I'm half theirs, maybe I could sell them for $7 or $8. And if I sold them for $7 or $8 and people still bought them, I'd make more profit. Or like this example shows, maybe instead of working 5 days a week, I can only work 4 and have the same amount of money. It's things to think about. This picture here, to me, it looks like what an Amazon warehouse must look like. Suppliers have to anticipate or make predictions about what consumers' demands are going to be, and especially at certain price levels. If they put something on sale, they need to anticipate how many people are going to want it, or even just at the regular price, what people are going to be able to do. Because you have to think, like, if you ordered on Amazon and like, oh, that'll take 40 weeks to create, we'd be going, what? I'm not ordering it. I want something now. So they have to have these warehouses stocked with supply, anticipating our demand. This just reaffirms the law of supply. As price increases, our a producer's desire and ability to supply more increases. But as the price falls, you're going to be less likely to supply some. And here's an example. I make cheer bows. I can make about 20 in a day if I really, really pushed it. Somebody asked me for 100 in a day. I'm going to say no at that same price because I'm the only employee. If I had to do 100 in a day, the price is going to need to go up because I'm going to need to hire somebody else to help me. So let's look at, this is an individual supply schedule. So this might be, just one individual group. So let's just say this is Papa John's. It could be Pie 5. It could be Jolly Ollie's. It could be Bluegrass Pizza. One individual pizza place. And so as you see, at $1, they're willing to supply 100. But at $6, they're willing to supply 350. And we have all the little ones in between. Now, can I graph this? Sure. Do my X, do my Y, supply or price, quantity supplied. And I can go through here. Let's count by 50s, 50, 100. I'm not making this exactly perfecto by any means, because it's really hard to draw this. So you can see, I can graph one here, then 150, then 200, 300, and you can see this curve's going to go up like that. Yeah. Now here's the market supply. So this is all the pizzerias together. This is very, very important because, especially if you wanted to be a new pizza company coming into Hendersonville, is there enough market for it? Is the demand meeting the supply that's already there, or is demand higher? So you can see at $6 a pizza, they're willing to supply 3,500 slices. That's a lot of pizza. Yeah, that's a lot of pizza. Now, elasticity. Elasticity of supply is very much like demand. It's how we react, how consumers will react to price changes. That was demand. Supply is based on the same concept. How willing are suppliers able to react to price changes and increase or decrease supply? And this takes us to time. Short term and long term is a real big deal when it comes to supply. The same principles apply for demand. If you have a short window of time to make a decision or to make a change, it's less elastic. But if I have like a week versus a day to make a decision, yeah, it's much more elastic. An example with demand, I always give students, I'm always saying, who rolled into school on fumes? Not a quarter of a tank. I'm talking your fuel light's been on for a while. Where's the first place you're going to go to get gas? And everybody says Worsham's. Why? It's the closest. Nobody says the cheapest or anything like that. And Worsham's tends not to be the cheapest, but it's extremely convenient. They're not outrageous either. They're just like 5 cents more. But everybody goes straight to Worsham's. If you had a quarter of a tank, You might say, oh, well, I don't need to go to Worsham's now. Maybe there's a place 10 miles down the road and I'll pass it tomorrow and I'll get gas there. It's 5 cents cheaper. You have more time to make the decision, therefore it's more elastic. Same thing with supply. If you came to me and said, I need you to make 100 cheer bows today, I would be like, I can't do it. Excuse me. But if you gave me a week to try to figure out how I can do it, then I might say, yes, I can supply more. So there's more elasticity in both supply and demand when we have a longer time to make the decisions. Now, when we calculate elasticity, this is going to be a formula. It's going to be the change in quantity supplied over the change in price. That should look very familiar to you. It looks just like our elasticity of demand. And the results are the same. If your number is greater than 1, it's elastic, so it's very responsive to price changes. If it's less than 1, it's not responsive. And if it's equal to exactly 1, then it's unitary elastic. We have a 1-to-1 ratio for the change. Now, here's something I didn't know till I taught this lesson. Did you know that it takes cranberry vines 3 to 4 years to produce fruit? So if all of a sudden you're a cranberry farmer and cranberry juice just is becoming huge and they're like, we need more cranberries, you're going to be like, okay, I can plant some vines now, but it's going to be 3 to 4 years before I have more cranberries. It's not as elastic at all. I can't just plant a cranberry vine and all of a sudden it's ready tomorrow. I got to wait 3 to 4 years. I'm sure grapes are the same way, that vine has to ripen and before it produces fruit. And that is the end of 3.4, and see you for the next lesson.